yeah, today I thought I would bring you a video about my forgotten shelf. Now, I have a shelf at the very bottom of my bookshelf, which I put like big books on or hardbacks that won't fit sort of standing up with the rest of my books. And I realised recently that I'm very bad at forgetting the books on this shelf. Now, the books that I've got on there have been on there for sort of 4+ years, and I just completely, when I look through my bookshelves to choose a book, I never ever go to this bottom shelf. So I am making a video about the books on there, mainly to say these are my forgotten books, and secondly to remind myself that they're there, so that next time I'm looking for a new book I actually remember that this shelf exists, because it is criminal that some of these books are being forgotten. So firstly, I've got a compendium by Douglas Adams. It's all the Hitchhiker's books, the trilogy in 5 parts. I have read A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and really enjoyed it, but I have since not picked up the others. And this was about 6 years ago that I read the first one. So I want to reread the first one and see if I want to continue. I think the first one is definitely the best of the 5. I don't know how the other ones are. I've heard sort of mixed things, but I keep meaning to get to this. I stole it off my brother actually when he moved home. I found it and had it, and have since completely forgotten about its existence, so there's that one. Then I also have a book that, again, isn't a new book. It's Adrian Mole's The Weapons of Mass Destruction. I bought this when I was about 13 and refound it recently when I was looking through, well, I say recently, about 6 months ago, when I was looking through all my old books, and decided to keep this one. I started this when I was about 13, sort of off the back of my love of Adrian Mole books, and obviously this is written for a much older audience. It's written when Adrian's in his 30s, I think. Yeah, 34. So it's written for people who are a lot older, sort of obviously aimed at the people who loved Adrian Mole when they were younger. But obviously when I was 13 it did not appeal to me. So I wanted to give this one another go. I have to say I've heard that it's not the most successful of the books, and it was a bit of a flop when it came out. But we'll see. I still want to revisit it because I do love the Adrian Mole books. Then I have House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielski. This is a book that I believe it was started online, and it's a kind of cult classic where it's a book about a haunted house, but it's written in all different forms of media. So it's got newspaper articles in there, and we basically find out about this man who is living in this haunted house, and it's driving him crazy, but we find out about it through all different types of medium. The reason, I mean, I do keep forgetting that I've got this because it's on the hidden shelf, but the reason also that I haven't picked this up is because I just have a feeling that it's going to be a slog. I mean, it's not as big as it looks, like the pages are really not covered in writing, but I just feel as though I'm not willing to get to it, which I need to change. And I've heard that some people absolutely love this book, some people don't necessarily get on with it, but I do enjoy things that are made up of mixed media and sort of play with the medias a little bit. So I am wanting to get to it. It's just a case of getting the inspiration. I think it might be one that is possibly better read in short bits rather than as a whole book, but we'll see. And I also have S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst. I have spoken about this before. It's a book, again, that uses mixed media, so it is in the theme of a library book, but within the library book there is another story where people who are taking the book out are writing notes to each other. I think the reason that I'm put off of this one, as well as the fact that I keep forgetting it, is the fact that I have heard some people say that they really didn't get along with the two stories alongside each other, because you sort of try and read the library book and then you read the notes and it just kind of bogs you down. But I adore how this has been produced and I really want to give it a go. I haven't even picked it up and attempted to read it, so I really need to. And then I also have The Woman Who Stole My Life by Marion Keyes. I bought this a long time ago, mainly because it's got pink pages and that was fun, but also because I read a few Marion Keyes, and she is your general chick lit writer. She's a bit of fun, she's good for holiday reads and things like that, but there is one book by her called Rachel's Holiday which I absolutely loved, and I read it a long time ago, like 7 years we're talking, and I really adored it because it's kind of a rom-com with a difference. It's a rom-com about a drug addict, and she's sort of in rehab and trying to deal with like everything that a normal rom-com character deals with, but in rehab, and I found that such a classic idea and it was hilarious. I really enjoyed reading it, so I wanted to pick this one up. I think it's about a woman who, I believe she has a car crash, and somehow that leads to her being a big star. I assume that she lies about her identity just from the title, I don't know. But I don't know if this is going to be my cup of tea anymore, but I still need to give it a go because I bought it. And I also have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is one that I am really bad at forgetting that I own. It was big on BookTube quite a few years ago now. Katie from Books and Things and Leanne at Leanne Reads read this last month, and they did get along with it, and Katie actually said the writing was absolutely phenomenal. The plot apparently is a bit dodgy, but if the writing is strong enough, I'm sure I can put that to the side because I do love a well-written book. It's basically, from what I know, it's about Germany in the wartime, which I always find interesting because I think, especially in our culture, quite understandably, a lot of the literature focuses on our side of the war. But you don't think about what was happening in Germany to the people who weren't necessarily fans of the war or who were just living their lives, and also we were, you know, destroying their country as well. So I always find that interesting. That's about all I know. I think it's a bit of a mystery involving a diamond from what I've heard. But yes, I need to get to this. I think I might get to this next month because I have had it for far too long. Then I have Jodi Picoult's Leaving Time. Again, I bought this at the same time as I bought The Woman Who Stole My Life. Jodi Picoult is a surprising writer for me. I've read quite a few of her books. I haven't read one in a long time, a few years, and I don't know if, again, she's the kind of writer that I would necessarily enjoy now. But I always find her surprising that she's a much better writer than you would expect her to be, because she is so popular and because she is kind of a mass author. You wouldn't expect her to be fantastic, but she does surprise me every time. The reason I picked this one up, and I haven't ever heard a review of it, it never seemed to get very big, but the reason I picked it up is because it's about a mother and a daughter. I believe it's about the daughter looking back at letters that her mother wrote when she was younger to her mother or something like that. But I always find the mother-daughter relationship very interesting because it's quite a intricate and confusing relationship, and I always want to find out more about that. I actually picked this up because I was writing a story about it at the time and never read it, so I need to read that one as well. Then I've also got Irvine Welsh's Skag Boys. Now, I will be honest, I don't keep forgetting about this. I keep not wanting to pick it up. This is the prequel to Trainspotting, and I read Trainspotting about 3 years ago, and I have to say, obviously I like the film, but the book wasn't my cup of tea. I think Irvine Welsh is definitely a man's writer. He writes with men in mind, which there's nothing wrong with that, and to be honest, I don't often read male authors, so it was probably just a bit of a shock to the system. But basically as well, the storyline that is in Trainspotting, the film is not necessarily in the book. The book is more like snippets, so it's like little short stories, and the storyline that's in the film is actually one of those little short stories. Obviously it follows the characters, but it's all different things going on, and it kind of just didn't grab me. I found it a bit of a slog to get through. He also writes in dialogue, so Scottish dialogue, which I can understand why, and it does add something, but it also makes it harder to read because you have to sort of put the accent on in your head, and it just sometimes, especially with how heavily he's done it, sometimes you have to read a sentence a few times before you can grasp the meaning, so that didn't help. So I picked this up before I'd actually read Trainspotting, and I just have yet to pick it up because I just feel like I'm not going to overly love it, but I need to get to that one because I don't want to give it away without giving it a go. And then finally, a newer book that I haven't necessarily forgotten about, although I do keep remembering that I've got and being like, oh, it's a Kate Tempest, The Bricks That Built the Houses. Kate Tempest is a spoken word poet and she is fantastic, and this is her first novel, so I'm very much excited to get to it. I have to say the plot doesn't overly excite me. I think it's sort of a looks at lots of different lives, and I don't necessarily enjoy books like that, but with Kate Tempest's poetry, I'm sure it's got to be good. I've actually not heard a review of this yet, so it'll be interesting to see what I think of it. It'll probably be a while before I get to this one, purely because I'm being quite strict with myself about reading new books, but I do want to get to this soon, and again, I have to keep reminding myself that I actually have it. So that is my forgotten shelf. There are some gems on there and some books that I'm really looking forward to getting to. I just need to get into the habit of remembering that they're down there. This is the awkward thing about sort of bigger books. You have to find somewhere different to put them, and it's just a case of needing to remember that they're there. Also, they're harder to pick up because obviously you can't take them around with you. I've just read a very big hardback from the library, and I have to say it was quite hard work, and instead of taking it in my bag, I was having to take a separate bag for my book, which was, you know, not ideal. But yes, so that is my forgotten shelf. I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know if you did, but hopefully it'll be inspiration for me to actually read these. That's the plan. Bye.